Welcome back to Wicked Auto. So today's install is actually underneath the hood. So we're actually going to be swapping out the cold air intake. So I know there's a big disagreement on cold air intakes. I don't care. I wanted it. So cold air intakes do make a difference. Very slight, and not all intakes make a difference. But good reputable intakes will make some sort of difference. I tested that with the F-150 build, which I'll include up here in a card. So you can take a look at that and see the difference. I'm not testing it for this. It's like 38 degrees outside. I'm not dicking with taking the truck out, test running it quick, videoing it, coming back, installing this, doing another test run. No, it's Sunday. I want to get the install and the video done, but I'm not testing it. I've already done it with a different truck. Take a look if you want to see the difference cold air intake actually makes. Another reason, so this truck, the only thing I would actually be able to do different is like a 0-60 time without the new cold air intake and with it. I can't do miles per gallon because the speedometer is not corrected from the tires. I'm having a really hard time trying to find a way to do that. I can't find an aftermarket part that I can buy to change the tire size myself, and I'm a dealer having a hard time finding a dealer to be able to do it. The last excuse I got from a dealer for the tire size was GM sends them the code to write it, and it's only if the tire size is available from factory. Obviously 35s are not available from factory, which is horseshit, but that's their excuse. So I can't do miles per gallon because the miles and the gas mileage is not correct inside the truck. So I can't do that either. I'm not going to pay to get this dynoed just for a cold air intake video. Sorry, the cost doesn't offset itself. If any, I could even find anybody to do it right now. But they do make a difference. Take a look at the F-150 that I linked in the video to see a difference. Now, let's get into it. So you do get a cold air intake, which is a lot of people's argument. You know, like it already comes with one from factory, which it does. Let's take a look. So it does come with one from factory, which I'm not gonna lie. I mean, like, this is a big setup for factory, right? Because it's this going the whole way over there. However, you don't need all that shit over there. And this is a small box, right? It does add to it, right? But factory is not all about performance, which, I mean, I can't disagree with. They got to save costs. They can't just worry about that kind of stuff because most people don't care. We got a bigger box, which provides more air, which increases performance, right? And I already have the aftermarket exhaust. So both of them paired together, I will see a more, I'd say, dramatic increase, but I mean, it's not going to be dramatic in the first place. But I will see more of an increase in a little bit of horsepower, torque, possibly miles per gallon if I stay off the accelerator too bad, than somebody else would that doesn't have the exhaust. When you start pairing things together is when you really start to see the more efficiency. Now, if I would get this tuned, then obviously it would make even more of a difference, having these extra parts and a tune. The tune, I don't know if I'm going to do that. I like how the engine performs, but we'll see down the road. But let's go over what we got. So we got the S&B. I just cut the tape. I have not opened it. Right on the top of the box, kind of says something important. Do not skip 1 through 5. So I would assume 1 through 5 is kind of important. Box. Let's see what we got here. Paper and all the parts. So this thing is huge. If you guys have done any kind of research already, other videos that have this box is enormous, especially compared to the factory one. I mean, look at that thing. It's huge. Now, the filter is already inside. We'll look at that then because the filter's humongous as well. We'll actually do a comparison for how big this one is compared to the stock one once I get that out. But let's go ahead and start tearing apart the factory one to get this one in. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is disconnect the negative terminal on the battery. Set that off to the side. So apparently you have to have this disconnected for 2 hours. So part of an SMB's thing is you will not get a check engine light. That's one of the stipulations. Leave the negative off for 2 hours to ensure you don't get a check engine light. And once you're done, on your dash, you have to disable the air filter sensor basically inside the cab that, that tells you how much life is remaining on your filter. You have to disable that before you drive, which we'll do that at the end when we have to, just letting you guys know. So you have to take the hood release off. It's 2 T15 Torx bits. You just unscrew them and pull it forward towards the front of the truck to get it off. And then you pull all the push pins on this plastic piece that sits over top of the grill right here. Just use a push pin removal tool. That's all I used. There's quite a few of them. You remove that, and then when you get down here, we are going to have to remove this piece here. This runs into the intake itself. We got to remove this, which there's just a clip right here that we need to remove. Okay, so on the front here, on the tube, the instructions say about a bracket, not this one. Not this one. There's another bracket because there's a hole right here on this side, on the front side, that braces to this bolt hole over here, but I don't have one. So whatever. This one just had the push clip. You just remove the push clip and then just pull this out to get it to disconnect from the box itself up underneath. Just where you can feel it's loose, it's not connected anymore, you're good. Then this wiring harness, you just want to pull off of that little plastic piece right there. So it just slides down in. You just want to kind of push it back towards the back of the vehicle, wiggle it a little bit, and it'll pop up. Then you want to, I use that same trim tool removal, that gray clip right there for the wiring harness. It's also clipped into the airbox. You just want to pull that out so it's not into the airbox. So then this entire harness is loose, right? It's not connected anymore. Then you want to disconnect your math sensor. You just pull the red clip, of course, push the little black piece on the back, and pull it out. That's it. So we're leaving that sit there at the moment. All right, something I want to make sure I show you guys. So you have to remove this hose right here. It's connected there and up here, right? You have to pinch the little silver tab to pull the hose off. This one at the top, at the airbox, is not an issue. The one down here, the front, and you can still see it. So the front one, the one facing out, is completely pushed in. So you have to, I kind of had to spin it and shove my finger down in there and pinch it just enough to get it off. That's why it is not on video. It was a pain. Just to be clear though, in case you have to spin it a little bit, undo the top one first, then come down here to this one in case yours is like mine. Just a heads up. The next step is to loosen this clamp here, and then there's a clamp back there that we have to get to. So whatever means, if you want to use a drill, just ratcheting screwdriver. That's all I'm using. Just to loosen these up, to be able to get them off then. Luckily for me, mine was facing up. If you can see the clamp right there, mine was facing up, so I got a little lucky. Hopefully, if you're doing this, yours is too. But that's where it is. Probably will need a flashlight. But so that one's loose, and so is that one. Let's get it off. All right, so now that is open. As you can see, it's all gone. Well, this piece, haven't taken that out yet. I haven't got that far. So this, and just pull the hose off of that. Pull the hose off the throttle body. Now there's this little bracket here attached to the alternator that holds that on. You have to tilt it up vertically and kind of wiggle it back towards that corner to get it loose, and then it just comes off. Now you could alternatively disconnect that bracket and reinstall it or leave it off. It doesn't matter. I got it off, so I'm just leaving the bracket on, not messing with anything that I don't have to, right? Of course, you want to make sure you don't get anything in the throttle body. You don't want that. Next is taking this out. There's 1 or 2 bolts I believe you have to remove for this. There's one of them. If I can get down here, you can see that one right there. Let's find the rest. All right, we got the airbox removed. So it was only that one bolt that, the nut off the bolt. Right there's the bolt. Just take the nut off and keep that. You're gonna reuse it. But you need to pick up the airbox over that bolt and then pull it towards the front of the truck because there's little rubbery pieces that go into those slots right there in that bracket, which are those pieces there. These little rubbery things fit in there to hold it, so you want to pull them out. Now, this one, to actually get the box out, that one, I had to get it out and around this harness here because it's underneath. So you want to pull a little bit towards the front, push this out and around, and then you can pick it straight up. Now, let's keep going. Okay, so like I said, installing this is next, so I had to take the filter out of that. While we're at it, I want to go ahead and compare the stock and the new one. So this is the stock one, right? That's the top side, like when you lift the cover off the box. That's what it looks like. Underneath, it's like it's got wet or dirty on that one corner. But, so there's that one. And then the new one. Right? This thing is huge compared to that one. If I can get it to sit right here. Okay. So let's see how long it is. So it is, because I'm underneath the lip there. Filter doesn't go too much farther, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So almost 11.5 inches. This one is actual filter 11.5 to 12. But this one is just a 2.5 thick. On the low side, the diameter of this one is 7 inches. Yeah, I think it's better. So just to compare, just so you guys know how big of a difference it is between the filters. But let's go ahead and unwrap this plastic, put it back in, and set the box in. So this big bag with hoses, the harness, clamps, all the randomness. So there's a little baggie, little one. Now it's empty. So you have to get from and put stuff in. So the first one is going to be on this back side. You're going to see this extra little piece outside. You have to screw in this. This piece and the screw is inside that bag. It's an Allen head. Just tighten it up so it's vertical. The next one is right below that, this little cornered piece here. You have to install the metal little circle and the grommet into there. You have to install this grommet. Then next is this one. So this is going to be setting in the truck kind of like that at the angle. So this one is on the side towards the fender well. You can leave it open or you can keep it closed. We're about to get some winter weather the next 2 weeks that they're calling for. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it closed just in case. I don't want any snow, sleet, rain, any of that getting in there just in case, because I don't exactly know nor trust it. So I'm just going to keep that closed for right now. So we just have the bottom one open and then the top ones. Then in the same little baggie you get the little rubber nipples to put this back on that bracket you pulled the factory one from. See? Then you just put both of those on both sides, and now we're ready to put it in the truck. Okay, so I got the box in. So first, you want to make sure that the harness is out of the way. You want to watch your coolant hoses, okay? The little rubber nipples, they'll pull on this one and this little attachment here to this side. So you want to be careful of that. This hose coming around the back side, it'll pull on this side of the box, but you want to get them rubber nipples back in the bracket. You also, the metal bolt that you took off right here underneath, you have to situate that back inside of this box and tighten it down. That is a pain in the ass. This is when I wish I had ratcheting wrenches, and that's the one tool I don't have. So I used a regular open-ended wrench, and you got to get up underneath here and tighten the bolt down. Let's go ahead and finish putting it all back together. Okay, so like I said, the bolt, then I went ahead and put the harness back on that little plastic bracket. You just slide it back on. Then you got to connect the inlet tube to the new box. I found it helped. It was easier for me to stick my arm down in the tube than my other arm down in the box to try to help guide it in with the seal down there at the bottom. You want to get it shoved in to the little frame piece on the inlet tube down at the bottom. If you're doing it, you can see what I mean. I don't have enough light here to show you because it's pretty dark in there at the moment. But you'll see what I mean. It's a little ridge on the inlet tube connecting to the air box. You want it to go into the box that far. Now it's time to button back up the front here, and then we'll take care of the rest of the air line, the intake line, and the hoses and the MAF sensor. That's where we're at here. So you need to go ahead and pull the brown paper off of the little clear plastic piece, put the insert on that. Go ahead and put that in. It has the seal connects to this and the box. You need to make sure that it's seated properly. The same thing with the filter itself. Once you go and put the filter in, which is after this, it has the same thing. Make sure it is seated flush with the box itself to make sure it is sealed the whole way around. Make sure you have the coupling facing the right way before you start putting hoses in. But that's where we're at, except for this zip tie. So they give you a couple of them. They want you to put it in the smaller hole at the top for the MAF sensor. I guess it's going to be tightened later. We'll see how that goes. But the intake tube itself, you need to go ahead and take the MAF sensor off your factory airbox. That is a T20 Torx bit for both of them on the factory box. They give you a nice little foam piece here at the bottom, then the plastic bracket, then the MAF, and 2 new screws. They want you to use those. I would suggest it. You don't know if the thread pattern is the same, and I didn't check. Then you need to take this out of the other little baggie that's in there and tighten that in. Do not over tighten this. This whole thing is plastic, okay? You don't want to strip the threads on the plastic piece. You don't want to break it because it's plastic. Don't over tighten, right? Like hand tighten and then quarter turn, okay? Do not over tighten that. Let's keep going. Okay, it's all back together. So, the instructions tell you to put on this side first, then shove it into the box itself. So, yes, but wait to put this on and seal that. Don't worry about that part because the angle isn't perfect with this clamp on there and how the box sits. Leave this off. Don't worry about sealing that. Wait till you get to installing the tube so you can adjust the filter to get this to seat. Then get everything to seal right and put this back in there. Then you're good that way. Tighten up the hose clamps. So when you're doing the tube, you need to connect the extension harness for the MAF sensor that they give you. So on the back side here, one of the zip tie clips that they give you, right there, go into there, right? So the extension harness is really long. You don't need that much. So I use that to kind of keep it up out of the way. So one of them, like I said, you put down there, which I waited till the end to tighten. So I just put it right damn near at the original factory MAF sensor. Then this one, as you can see, I curled it here because you have plenty of slack in there. Nothing's pulled tight or anything like that, but you don't want it sitting, you know, around anything hot to where it's gonna melt the wires. So just be cautious of that. Then they give you this hose with the new inserts for both sides. Tighten those clamps and stick them on. Now waited long enough, connect the battery back up, and let's go in and disable the air filter sensor. Actually, before we go in and do that, take a look. So you can see the whole thing, see how much bigger it is, how much nicer it is, right? Cleans up all of that junky big box that covered that whole thing. How much bigger the tube is, the box. So again, you get it from the inlet tube down to the bottom. You have these two here, and you have the one down there in the fender, which you can remove that seal from inside the box. You just pull this up, pull the seal out. Let's go ahead and get inside and disable the air filter. All right, so you want to go to the info pages, then scroll down to air filter. Click on the green arrow. Yep. It was already on. All right. Let's go back. Air filter menu. Disable. That's what you want. You want it disabled. Okay. So that way, that'll throw the check engine because it won't be able to read the aftermarket air filter, right? So now we're good to go. I'm gonna go ahead, shut it back off, clean up a little bit, and take it out. Back it out of the driveway. I guess we'll need to see if it sounds any different. So we'll do that. I'm gonna say it's definitely throatier. It's got a little more of a grumble right off the bat. I can hear it like puttering, you know what I mean? That was not there before. So that's nice. I like that. Let's get up out of this neighborhood here. Seems like it might, I don't know, but it seems like it shifts a little bit better. Like right there around that turn that I just took, it's always kind of It's because it's just coming from the stop and then accelerating and then braking and then accelerating. It's kind of a little jumpy a little bit, I guess, but that was pretty nice right there. I'd say the throttle response is probably, yeah, that's definitely better. Throttle response is better. I'll give that right off the bat. There's no doubt about that one. Like I said, miles per gallon I'm not going to be able to figure out, so that's just what it is. Take it as it is, as you want. I mean, whether you think it will or won't. But definitely improves throttle response and the sound from the exhaust as well. So let me know what you guys think. I'm sure I'm going to have the ones in the comments, you know, that don't do anything. Well, like I said, it's already been proven that it does. So you're wrong. But we'll see you guys next time. Like, subscribe. Have a good week.